Thank you. I was waiting for everything to download and I forgot about YouTube. Hi, YouTube. I don't want this to sound bad, and I tend to watch podcasts when I'm interested on, say, what the guests have to say. No, it's understandable. There's the problem. The problem is that you need to get guests who people want to listen to, and the problem is that the people who people want to listen to don't want to be on podcasts, if that makes sense.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
Oh, one last thing. I know it's tough to ask,
You can never.
but time your lives with the shit the CIG pushes out, like you do on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you talk about things that have been shitted. I mean, I could just move back to Thursdays doing office hours.
Gifted at Thor, a membership. At Thorn 43210 celebrates 7 months of membership.
Thank you, Thorn, for that 7 months of membership. Very important, Papa, and very impressive, very pedestrian. This is your fault. This is Richard. Good night. Trust, cheers, chat, y'all. Trust, cheers. This is part here, and you. Thank you. Well, it's more that YouTube's a little bit more of a finicky bastard when it comes to setting it up. Hey, Otaku. I mean, Twitch. No, I know what you're talking about. Because I moved office hours from Thursday to Monday. The problem about Monday is that, as you're right, it's like a week after shit's happened. So it's a little bit behind. The problem is that everything I've been wanting to in the past has been on Thursdays. So I've been basically tossing out stuff that I wanted to do outside of streaming for streaming. So I think, and honestly, you're right. I probably should just move that back to Thursdays. It does better on Thursdays. It's called.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
There it goes.
Sounds good. Be ready in a moment.
All right. You just click a pen, by the way? You can? To equip it? I used to be able to like right click and equip all, say equip all. Yeah, interesting. Get some juice down here. Juice.
Keeping busy?
I think there's something loose in my carpet because every time I take off my
thing apart just to get to the bottom.
That's the way it is sometimes. Anything happening?
What do I think about 4.7? Yeah, so sorry, Clown, you said that earlier. I think it's probably one of the better patches in terms of content that CIG has done in years. I would argue it is probably the best patch CIG has done since, like, 4.0, I guess. In the sense of just getting, not only just getting stuff out, but changing how the game's played. Crafting has really changed how the game should be played because it forces players to actually play the game more in order to get specific items, in order to possibly craft better weapons and armor, to give themselves at least a little bit of an advantage in combat, or just more survivability, because it's not just combat, it's also like environmental survival. I mean, I usually watch the actual stream VOD rather than YouTube videos from the captain's table. Yeah, I mean, the captain's table. So here's the reality when it comes to the captain's table. I moved the captain's table from the Astropub Live to its own channel because I felt the other content that I was creating was being smothered by the captain's table. And to be honest, the captain's table has always been one of those things that I did because people wanted me on YouTube, because people wanted me to post it on YouTube. It was originally going to be Twitch only, and I was just going to do it on Twitch and have fun talking with folks about the game, about updates, about opinions, that sort of thing. And people said you should post it on YouTube, and so I started doing that. And then people started actually watching it on YouTube.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Please visit us again. Goodbye.
I'm going to try this again. Do courier missions. Not necessarily, Lurch Lord. To give you the example, I gotta pick that up from somewhere. The probe set, the box set. We're gonna do for the Invictus for sure.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Your vehicle, please visit us again.
Probably Invictus. Yeah, probably shouldn't come Invictus. that a space Roomba? No, it's a box satellite. Can I activate it? Used to be able to activate them. You can activate it, yeah. I'm not going to activate it because I have to deliver it. No, Lurch, so the thing that's important to understand about YouTube is that the YouTube algorithm is a child. It is a baby that does not understand, that has a basic comprehension of like the world around it. So if you are not a square peg that's fitting in a square hole, then the YouTube algorithm doesn't know what to do with you. Which is one of the reasons why all of your YouTube, everyone you follow on YouTube has 4 different channels. It's because each of those channels is for a different topic. Because if they try to do those same topics on their own channel, the algorithm would screw up. So having a channel just for a podcast does well. Oh shit, I'm a dumbass. Yeah, watch one cement truck video and your feed is full of cement truck videos. You watch one video from somebody you're not subscribed to, all of your feed is filled with videos from that creator until it figures out what you want to do. Gotta quit and restart the game. My sticks weren't on. So I'll give you an example. About a week ago, I released my video on the monthly reports because my monthly report videos usually do pretty well. But the thing about them is that they come in every month. So you typically think that like the YouTube would drop the views, but on average, I get 3,000 to 4,000 views on those monthly report videos every month, and it has about 3.5 thousand views. So, and if I look at that content, let's see if I can find that way. With the analytics, the audience is about 41% not subscribed. So only about 60% of people are subscribed and about 40% aren't. So it's reaching people who do not usually watch me, or at least don't watch me enough to subscribe to me. In fact, YouTube will break down watch by behavior. 20% of them are new viewers, 34% are casual viewers, and only 45% of them are regular viewers. So about half of of the people who watched it were people who always watch my videos. And the other half were people who casually watch my videos or have never seen my video before. Yeah, I'm using a powered USB hub. It happens every so often. It's just a matter of just checking to see if I just have to like turn off and turn on the ports once because I've got little like buttons to turn them off and on.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System. Your vehicle, please visit us.
So what are you expecting to get out of the whole B? Anything groundbreaking? I think so. I think they're going to definitely explain it. because it has to land, it's going to have a different configuration from the A and the C. I'm expecting some different configuration on that, effectively. Welcome everyone from more stream. My name is Paul Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astropub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You have a good one. Send you many fine people. Thank you. Thank you for your fine folks. Thank you for trusting me with your fine folks. You'll regret it, but you know, that's how it is. Welcome everybody. So what we're doing right now is playing the game a little bit because we'll before we get into. Oh wait, gotta pick up this pod set. Where's that pod set? What? Oh, it's at. Okay, I'm an idiot. The next pyro jump point. Well, to be honest, they're not mine. Only borrowing them from better streamers. Ouch. By the way, this here is no Batman, but Paul Atreides. Yes, I get to see my another Paul commit genocide.
To the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Your vehicle, please visit us again.
Yeah, it's super late for you. It's got to be like almost midnight. Have a good night, bud. What's today's panelist for Captain's Table? It will be a Radar Ranger and Loken. We'll be talking about crafting and inventory. Dune 3 is this year. Not only is it this year, it's the same day as the next Avengers movie. So apparently Squadron this year marketing team is heating up again. Where are you hearing this, Shepard? I'm interested in this. Seriously? Yes, seriously. It's releasing the same day as Avengers Doomsday. And my only thought is, man, Avengers Doomsday is going to get its ass kicked. I think a lot more people are excited to go see Avengers Doomsday or to see Dune 3 than Avengers Doomsday. People only think Level Up is going to be Squadron. What do you mean Level Up? Space Tomato posted for that convention. Did he post it in his Discord? Is he posted it on his channel? Lost Level Up Expo. I'm seeing. So it looks like it's a fan con. I'm not seeing anything. There's no one in the guest information that I can see. Like I'm not seeing Chris Roberts or anything else like that in the guests. It's all voice actors. CIG partnered up with AMD, but I'm not even seeing AMD listed in Level Up. Exhibit hall. It's a wait list. They have wait lists, but they don't have actually exhibit hall posted yet. Where did they announce they did this? Because I'm not seeing this. Thank you, Shepherds. Aha. Level Up Expo. AMD and CLX to plant a flag on the show floor with Star Citizen themed booth. Key members of the development team will be there through the weekend, so stop by and ask questions and jump in and experience Star Citizen. Okay, so it's all Star Citizen stuff. Okay. Yeah, this has been Squadron, but this is a good sign of what CIG is doing. Because what they're doing here is becoming more active in the con space.
Hello, how can Miss help you today? Systems on.
Yeah, it's them actually doing stuff, and they're doing with people whom they already like kind of know well.
Shield off. Shield on. Launch sequence complete.
So someone said, I'm losing faith that we're going to see, God damn it, I hate when it does this. I love the music though. Roll. We're back. If no announcement by Summer Game Fest, then expected delay. So I will say this for folks who are our question, does Chris Roberts have any lines of dialogue in Squadron 42? He does. He actually has a cameo. He has a cameo in all of the Wing Commander games as well. I have heard his lines of dialogue in Squadron. I am not telling you what it is. Because again, it also might have changed. Because that dialogue was recorded in like at least the earliest or the latest was like 2015 when the dialogue was recorded. Is Stargate coming out this year? The new Stargate? The Star... That one I don't know. When are we going to discuss radar? I want to bitch about my poor trackers. When radar is actually added into the game. They did update some stuff for radar for sure. But I feel like a lot of that is just in preparation for the actual release. So, I do not think CIG will delay the release of Squadron. Because, again, I've been hearing from multiple people that they have a month in mind. And, like, people from all positions inside CIG. It's earlier than December, later than August, is all I'm going to say. Well, three have already gone by there, C-Daddy.
You can take away my space suit.
So you still got,
You can even take
what,
away my
9
space
more?
lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
I don't think it's... from what I have heard, it is not in the summer.
Fastcard just resubscribed for 26 months. I'm still flying the Bang GP. Cheeky smiley face.
Thank you so much. The Bang P? What's the Bang P? Thank you so much for that, is it 315p? Thank you for that 12 months of gift subscription from left. You're very important, Papa Brand Principles are very important. This is your fault. We should drink night. Cheers, chat, y'all. Cheers. I can tell you when you're getting a release date. This is not a leak or anything like that. This is just vibes and intuition. But it's Invictus. So May or June, you will start seeing CIG. CIG will announce the release date, which gives them a solid 6 months of prep and build up minimum.
Quantum fuel at 75%.
Because makes 6 months, 6 to 7 months, 5 to 7 months, or 4 to 7 months. Early 27? I don't think so. Yeah, it'd be a very short marketing time. Yeah, because first off, Squadron 42 is Fleet Week is a good time because it's all about military, and they already do a bunch of, at least one big hoorah, come join the military sort of promotions videos for Invictus. Now, that being said, it could still delay. It could still delay to 27. I know at least internally they're confident enough that it's ready to go, that they've announced, that they've told people at lower levels of beyond management when it's coming out. Which could mean one of two things. One, it could mean that, where's my, it's probably over here, isn't it? Yeah. One, they're saying this to be like, hold on your butts, this is what we gotta do. Buckle the fuck up, lock the fuck in, boys. We gotta, boys and girls and NBs, we got a fucking game to release. Or they're super confident and be like, yeah, this is what we're gonna get if we're done. Anything you see with Star Citizen would be the system requirements for Squadron. They're not that different. They use the same engine. There's some slight changes with Squadron, but not enough to make it a huge difference. But it's also not nearly as many assets. Well, they could also offset it because of the cutscenes and stuff like that. We don't know the minimum spec requirements, but it would be the same. I would almost assuredly it's the same spec requirements as Star Citizen is.
Landing gear down.
Yeah, the lock-in stage started in 2024. I will say CIG was playing fast and loose with the term feature complete. The people I know who work on Squadron were like, yeah, Chris was doing a little bit of marketing speak. Because they didn't really get to feature complete status for another couple of months after Chris made that announcement. Yeah, it's mostly, from what I've heard right now, it's build to build. Some builds are more stable than other builds. Some builds are imploding messes that will explode your face. There are still portions of the game which are missing assets, or white boxed, or replacement balls, or like that kind of stuff. But the game is fully playable from beginning to end, in the sense of you can play from mission to mission to mission to mission. And it transitions well. Yep. But it's not always last, but like the thing is that, and this is going to go back to the thing about me being super hyper focused on like, I want to know how this cool stuff works, even though it has no value to me in any way. Personally, I'm just find this stuff neat.
Hey.
It is just not unusual for weird shit to be, still be like, have replacement stuff and like little parts of the game not done until like the weeks leading up to release, because in general that stuff isn't as important as features. A cutscene is just animation. It's just a matter of getting the animation in. Objects are just objects. They're scenery. They don't affect gunplay or and you hope not performance, but sometimes it does fuck up performance. Pick up research probe. Did I go to the wrong? I am a dumbass. Asher, any thoughts on those modules at the bottom of the level up announcement? Really? There's modules at the bottom? Oh, is this the thing that X said were I don't see anything down there. I don't know what you're talking about. Did they accidentally leave those in or something? In the sneak peek. Oh, in the sneak peek. Oh, yeah, those are almost certainly modules for the new Aurora. I am surprised that CIG decided to so drastically change the Aurora. It looks a lot more like the what's it called? The Salvation. Yeah, you have post. Yeah, those are almost certainly modules for the new Aurora. Yeah, I know. Execute. I love Execute. But Execute's instincts are almost always wrong in my experience. And Execute can argue with me all you want about that if you're here, X. But like, and as X would always say, we have in the Info Runners, we do a lot of discussion, and the whole point of discussion is to pull out ideas. And I think X kind of goes a little overboard sometimes with his ideas. Because he shoots for the moon? The fuck is turned off? Oh. maybe medical. In fact, if we look at these, I'll pull them up real quick after I get out of the hangar. And to the actual place I'm supposed to fucking go. Research probe.
Shields off.
There we go. Now refuel there. Not much of a jump.
Quantum travel engaged.
Nope. So, this is cargo. This is a cargo module. This, I don't know what this is. This is probably an extended fuel tank. So my guess would be this would be the typical module that comes with, or maybe an extended module, so the clipper module, and this would be the replacement for the cargo. Instead of cargo, you get an extended fuel tank of some kind. No, this is Patrick. It's a missile storage pod for the LN like Mark II. It could be, but this first one right here, this right here is almost certainly. There are those top missile the like top things like the miss. No, that's not missile stuff. That's just internal tracking. That's all. It's got the hazard stripes, which usually means cargo. But these are not medical. I don't think these are medical in any ways. There's nothing that says medical. In fact, this says more the streamline that CIG and the greebling that CIG does for like speed or distance. And these are clearly like, they're supposed to be like, hey, you connect this to the other thing.
Quantum fuel at 50%.
So my guess would be that this is the clipper that would swap out the cargo module for an extended cargo module, and then this would be like the what is the LX? That's just the luxury, I think, which is supposed to have more range. So you have the MR, which is the base. You have the CL, which was the cargo hauler. And you've got the LX, which is the longer range. And then you'd have the Aurora LN would have its own module, which may not come with it. So. Fuel port hatch at the top. This might be a fuel port right here, yeah. But these are just universal connectors, is what these are. Look like. And you notice how these are on, these would be on top, these are on bottoms. This one looks like it's slightly bigger. Yeah. Is often a racer, right? Yeah, it's like a racer / long range explorer. I'm completely not understanding the larger implications of having different module drop-ins and drop-outs. No, I mean, that's one of the things they wanted to do with the engines for the M50. And yes, it means that a variant is simply just a module swap. So you could have the same base and then swap the modules out, and now you've got a different ship. External modularity. Kind of. These are sort of external, but they're going to be in part of the ship. I don't imagine these things are going to be outside of it. They're just going to connect into the ship at the bottom. No, you typically can't right now. Knowing that they don't want us to use Discord, or they're trying to build an internal Discord for communications. What's your thoughts on that, Paul? They've been talking about doing an internal Discord forever. That's what Spectrum is their internal Discord. Yeah, it would be awesome if you could track beam them, but I don't see that happening. I don't know if you'll be able to do it outside the hangar. I believe you'll be able to carry it around. Maybe you can swap them out. But those are like sail, that's their sail perspective. Like that sort of video. My fucking kingdom for lamp. God, that music is loud. What do you mean forgotten feature? They've been updating. It's just doesn't work on the older ships. It's a nice rendition of that new song, of that same song. The Nyx theme. More triumphant. This button. Lamp issues tied to kinetic and static cockpit glass. It's something they simply need to add more time for a solution to. The only big issue with lamp is the moth. Well, the moth, and I think the mole also has it. They added it to the mole. The new theme really feels more like it's leaning into the Rebellion Star Wars vibe. It kind of reminds me of sort of like Soviet era music. A little more like depressing almost. It might be that turreted ships have issues with supply lamp. That doesn't make a lot of sense because there are turrets with the moth and the mole, and they're both fine. You can hear like the whoa in the background, and they're just this bum 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 bum. And older single seat ships don't have it either. The Avenger Titan does the Aurora. Pod set, come with me. They mostly do. There's a bunch of them that still have their own unique ones. Not all of them do, but we know that the Drake has its own MFDs. RSI has its own MFDs, Aegis has its own MFDs, Anvil has its own MFDs. Or, I don't know if Origin does, but basically all the ones that have their own MFDs are the ones that are in Squadron. Made a post about Blamp this week. Okay, cool. Sergeant Lobster, you seem to be over a lot of CIG shit. This is not trolling. I'm genuinely interested. What does CIG need to do to make you not be mad at them? Because you seem to always be mad at them. Overall, I'm not mad. I'm actually really excited about 4.7, feeling optimistic about the patch. They just have some habits I get tired of. I get it. And it's not that it's the only game I want to be mad. I just, there's folks who are very passionate about this game who, whenever I hear them or see them speak, it's always like, CIG is fucking forgetting about this or that or the other thing. And I'm like, okay. There was no scenario where we should be silent about their mistakes, but congratulatory about their successes. No, I'm not saying that, Lady Space Patrol. I'm just saying there are folks who I've seen consistently seem to be more negative than positive, and I'm more interested in hearing more about what is the reason. And is it just my perception because the only time I see them talking is something about negative, something that's negative? Or is there like a hey, I really like this game, but there's all these problems that I think are really problematic to the game in the long term? I think the answer is release the game 10 years ago. Well, there's also there is and this isn't meant to be derogatory or anything, but there's also gamers always bitch. I'm interested. Is there an actual, like, landing pads you can land on this station? Or did they get rid of landing pads entirely? These look like landing pads. No, they are landing pads. Thank you, human ascended. Are these pads? This says pod. These have got to be pads. I'm surprised criticism would be confusing. What do you mean? Yeah, I remember. I'll read it when
100%.
while I'm traveling back to.
Launch sequence complete. Shield off.
I really do like Nyx's theme, though. Wait, where is it? Yeah. All of the Nyx assets, Levski and these stations all have freight elevators in the externals.
Travel engaged.
Let's pull this open and let's read through it. All right. Hey, I wanted to provide a bit of context as to why LAMP hasn't yet appeared on more ships. Due to the way vehicles are built in Star Citizen, canopies typically consist of two panels of glass, an interior-facing panel and an exterior-facing pane. Or interior and exterior-facing pane. You may have noticed that LAMP operates on the interior pane only, which means the effect is visible to players inside the cockpit looking out when the ships are authored. When ships are authored, there are two slightly different workflows for how the canopy and interior glass are set up depending on the ship. Animated canopies. If the canopy needs to be animated, the interior glass must be attached to the canopy itself, which is part of the vehicle's exterior asset. Static canopies. If the canopy does not animate, the interior glass pane can instead be placed within the interior object container, meaning it is functionally separate from the exterior asset. When LAMP was initially planned, the intention was to roll out on 10 most used single-sheet ships. With support for the game code and graphics teams, we were able to automate much of the setup for ships that fall into the first category. As a result, those ships are relatively straightforward to support. Ships in the second category are more complex. Because the interior glass is not linked to the exterior canopy, LAMP cannot currently be applied using the same approach. We have raised work with the relevant teams to support this case, but the timing will be dependent on their broader priorities and schedule. The positive news is the potential path forward has been identified. We already have other systems that link similar assets, such as canopy, rain, and snow effects, which will hopefully provide framework for extending LAMP more broadly. We did also explore an interim approach that would have involved separating interior glass pane and reattaching it to the exterior asset. However, applying this change across the remaining ships will require a significant amount of art and design time, as the potential for introducing further issues, such as undesired wear on the interior glass panes. For that reason, a code-based solution is likely to be cleaner and more sustainable approach in the long term. Okay. So this is a common thing, and don't shit on Firebird for Lurchlord for saying this. This is a common thing. For instance, the problem I think that people are having with that is that at its core, CIG prioritizes certain things over others, and people get mad at those priorities happening. For instance, the G12 could have been produced months and months and months ago. They've produced, what, 4 ground vehicles since the G12 was released, possibly even more. But the G12 still hasn't been released. And there are 2 reasons for that. One, it was somebody else's baby, and that person probably doesn't work at CIG anymore. So they have to keep, and one of the hardest people for them to keep are ship artists. People who work on the ship team are incredibly difficult for them to keep on. So they're trying to appease these people by giving them ships for them to work on for their CVs and for their own like, hey, I've got this done. Because CIG gets, they honestly get poached all the time. And which is one of the reasons why we're likely only now starting to see a bunch of the backlog smaller ships like the Hull B get introduced, because those people have now settled into the team long enough that they can hand them somebody else's homework and have them finish it. The other thing is that any ground vehicle that is getting worked on now will have to get reworked when the ground physics gets reworked. So it's a matter of, is it needed right now for the game? How much work would it be for it to be put into the game? And is it already a finished asset or partially finished asset because of Squadron? It's just a balance of priorities. And a lot of people get mad at that because the thing that they really like in the game may not be added to the game, which I get, understandable, totally understandable and reasonable. But it comes back to the fact that a lot of people aren't used to how developers develop games, which to your average person looking at a video game looks fucking ass backwards and insane, because that is. Video games are developed by insane people. By people who are fundamentally bad at managing time. Which is why they have to hire producers to tell them how to manage their time. And often people who who got into the business because they were passionate about what they did, so they don't want to be told, hey, you got to go do this boring thing. It's like, if I want to do the boring thing, I'd go make more money working on banking technology. So when it comes to things like the crossbow, there's a couple of things you need to understand. Number one, does this require brand new animations? Does it require new changes? Is it a completely fundamentally different way of approaching the game? If the answer is yes, then it requires more work than normal for a normal gun to be made. And as a result, they're going to have to build out new assets. They're going to have to work on new animations. They have to do a bunch of things that they can't reuse some other aspects already, so it's going to take them longer. So they're going to put off the things that are one-shot only use launchers. And the reality is this probably won't be the last crossbow. We'll probably see multiple crossbows in the game, or bow-like stuff, because they don't want to just do it once and done. That's one of the reasons why the Ranger is not being built yet, because it's the only motorcycle. And I guarantee you it won't be the only motorcycle, because CIG is going to spend time and effort coding all the fucking shit they need to do for the motorcycle, and then not make 7 different motorcycles.
Engines off.
Yeah, Yeah, Alex, you're right. It's not just video games, but video games has its own unique problems because video games don't pay very well. Like, you get paid like shit working in video games. Even like the best video game payers, like Riot, still pay you garbage compared to what you could make in doing the same thing for like a bank. Sage's not making it easier for themselves. They keep saying things and showing off things that then don't materialize when they claim it would. When I left the game industry, I got a 25% pay raise. Yeah. Yes, and that's the reason why developers are moving overseas. They're moving to the UK, especially they're moving to Poland, because Poland, they don't have to pay as much. It's one of the reasons why CIG closed down the LA office. The research probe's not here? Where the fuck's the research probe? Is it in the cargo? Refinery, maybe? No, not the refinery. I guess it's the cargo. AI is not helping because game studios are trying to replace people with AI. And developers are also unionizing more now, which is causing studios to cut people because they're like, well, we don't want to have to pay as many of you, so fuck you. So, Lurchlord, would you be entirely okay with CIG if they gave you your crossbow tomorrow? So CIG snapped their fingers and said, Star Citizen's released tomorrow. Would you be happy? Is that the core problem? What's the core problem? Failure to prioritize decade-old promises over short-term sales. Can you illustrate an example of short-term sales prioritization over like decades-long promises?
Hi.
Sales are doing good. Yeah. The question is more like what is the focus? Like, this is a common narrative I've seen, and I want to hear the like thoughts behind it. So I hope it's the thoughts behind it are more than just I feel like it is, so it is. Okay, so what I'm hearing is because CIG hasn't made a specific piece of content or hasn't made certain content, CIG is failing to live up to promises they made years ago. They've taken money from many people for game loots that remain absent, like exploration. I know that's your big thing, right? So if exploration came in tomorrow, you'd have no problem with CIG anymore?
Edge is on.
Medical's a thing? Oh. Well, medical's in, but it's just not as robust as you want.
Launch sequence complete.
So it's just a matter of you believe you were promised something specifically and you haven't been given that thing. Do you believe, Lurch, that CIG is prioritizing those packs at the detriment of everything else? So you think that the people who would be working on skins for a ship or for armor or for skins for a weapon are the same people who would be making, like, exploration or a crossbow? No, I know. It's okay. It's okay. I'm trying to, like, try to, like... I'm trying to get a little bit more. You know that the people making the skins for FPS weapons aren't making weapons, right? Like, the latest monthly pack. I'm pulling it up right now. I also, by the way, I think the monthly packs are garbage, but the CIG apparently makes money off of them. The Gideon bundle. It comes with an P6LR sniper rifle. So it's this P6LR, which is already in the game. It's just skin on top of it. Same goes for the Devastator, Ripper, and whatever those pyro weapons are called. Some of those were Squadron 42 assets, like the kill shot, or whatever, the sure shot, or whatever it's called. And then the Ripper was made for 4.0, which was over a year ago. I think it was in testing like 2 years ago. The Devastator's been in game forever, though. The shotgun. Okay, Lady Space Patrol. What I was asking is, is it more of a CIG hasn't met what you were hoping that Star Citizen was going to be in terms of exploration and medical, or are you worried that medical and exploration just isn't in the game yet? So that's the question, is basically if CIG added those, added more to medical, or do you believe the CIG promised more for medical than they currently have, and added exploration, you would be happy with that? You'd be happy with that. Okay. So what do you expect from medical? I'm just curious about this one, because this is the same argument I have with Tree all the time. Gotta get more gas. Okay, so you just want to be able to make more money doing medical, make money doing medical, and then make money doing exploration. Okay. I think the medical one's probably on the roadmap, or it's probably sooner than later. Yeah, but that's just a prioritization issue.
Landing gear down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of folks are generally looking for. That's like with like, if we're getting refueling PvE missions, I think we'll be getting medical PvE missions soonish. Just a matter of the team prioritizing what they can. That's remained upset for years. I get that. So what I'm hearing is just that CIG's prioritization is off in Lady Space Patrol's case and in why am I blanking on your name? You were just speaking. Lurch Lord's case. No, Lurch. I just forget it because I don't know. I read it as Lunch Lord originally, and I'm like, that's wrong. That's a mean thing to say. Everyone does.
Engines on. Quantum fuel at 100%.
I'm gonna say it is entirely okay to be mad at CIG for priority issues. It's okay to be mad. I think it's also maybe just my own cynical ass point of view, which is to say, it's also from my experience, from my perspective, like, it's gonna come eventually. It's just gonna suck until it does come. Like, I want to be a smuggler. And can I make money doing smuggling PvE missions? Yeah, but it's not really the gameplay I was hoping for. Will it come? Eventually, yeah, but...
Engaged.
They prioritize new ships over updating existing ships to gold standard and full functionality. Yeah. Hold the Line was 2023. Answer the Call was 2016. Oh yes, Radio Rice. You're not going to see that until after 1.0, unfortunately. Whatever the fuck. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's CIG's buzzwords for like we promise it's coming soon. Your call is very important to us. Is the next one. Please stay on the line. To get back to what I was saying before, though, is that, and this is going to sound bad, but this is very common in the video game industry, like extremely common. Bad project management, as I have learned from talking to lots of game developers in like, especially larger game studios, is so common. It's sort of a problem amongst a lot of amongst most developers. Like, it's practically a fucking meme at this point. If you have a team of more than like 5 people, you're going to have shitty project management. It's a standard engineering problem outside of games too. I think it's more pronounced in games because games is a hybrid of engineers and artists. And neither of those two groups are really good at being told no. I slipped into a project management position against my will at work. Now my hair is gray and I've lost all faith in humanity. Yeah. As an engineer, artists can go pet a duck. My needs first, make it pretty later. I agree with you, but the problem with game development is that a lot of artists are also the people who are designing the games, so they're going to give more preferential treatment to artists than engineers. Yep, video games, that's what I was saying earlier there, Grex, is that video games is a shitty pay job. So you're not going to get the best project managers, A. You're going to get mostly people who mean well but have no experience. And you also have the problems of diva shit. Like, dear God, have I heard of some diva shit in the video games industry. God damn, do people get diva. Engineers, artists, designers, Jesus fucking Christ, people are way too into their own fucking farts. It's one of those things that I always worry about with Chris, because I'm like, Chris has got all the hallmarks of being a diva dev, but from what I've heard from the people who've worked with him is that he's a pretty level-headed dude. He's just really into trains, if you know what I mean. Because it's the most popular day of the week, Jen. Astro, as a teacher, how do you feel students are doing group trials together? Is there similar issues with project leading management? To a degree, but a lot of it is if I manage the students and give them the roles and explain what they're supposed to do, they tend to do it a little bit better. It's up to you, Jim. Why are blueprints compound? Is that going to be discussed in the captain's table? We'll talk a little bit about that. But I think CIG has even said, have addressed that. They said it's going to be account bound for some blueprints, and some blueprints you can trade, depending on what that is. Yeah, it wasn't an accusation, sir. I didn't. I mean, it's like it's not on you, bud.
Quantum travel complete.
I do think we'll get physical BPs, but I think it's just easier for CIG to do account-bound BPs. Because they have to, like, make a physical art asset, and then they have to, like, deal with how does it get attributed. Because they still won't even have, like, the ability to grant permissions to specific people on ships and stuff like that, so... I sort of spurred this on mostly because I'm fascinated to know why people are upset at the game. Because for me, it's more of is this something that shows to a wider problem, or is it something that has existed in the past and is just because, like, let's be honest, gamers are always problematic. Like, they always complain. Every game I've ever been community I've been a part of has had that group of people who are like, we're so over, oh, we're so back, it's Jover, we're so back, sort of back and forth. And as gaming has become more popular, it's become more common in the communities for that stuff to happen. I still maintain the happiest people in any gaming community are people who just play the game and don't even look at the community. They're just like, I enjoyed this game. Or I do not like this game. I'm going to move on. Plus, I also think that there's at least a little element of algorithm like fuckery that happens because negative attention, negative posts, and negative comments get more attention than positive. And that's just human nature. And then algorithms promote that. The Helldivers community used to be great, and it's kind of devolved to that, yeah. The smartest, happiest people in Star Citizen are people who bought an Aurora in 2012 and will remember they have that fucking account in 2027 when the game actually goes to 1.0. Will boot up the game and be like, this is fun. I'm enjoying myself. Sliding is what's going on. 2028.
Engines off.
Nah, it's gonna be sooner rather than later. Now they'll remember Squad 42 in October for sure. Well, it's always the case where the happiest people are the people doing the thing. The unhappy people are the people who are complaining about the thing, not doing the thing. I haven't tried it yet, no. What are the plans? What the fuck? Yeah, I agree. Instead, you're sort of in a fucked if you do, fucked if you don't situation. They have to keep selling ships to stay afloat to pay for all the people that work on the game. But by doing so, they're not doing the other ships they sold 12 years ago that people want them to make so that they can play in the game. But then they also don't have the features in for those ships to function properly. We're sort of ending that cycle in a slow way, and I think this patch does actually indicate that CIG is sort of ending that cycle sooner rather than later, which I think comes to the fact, the idea that, you know, CIG is now got all of its base features in. Dynamic meshing isn't really holding anything up other than like instance content, but that's not stopping content from being made. The features are now actually being worked on. Yeah, this is a known issue. I think CIG is barking up the wrong tree, though, because I saw them talk about, like, I think it was a monthly report where they said they were going to fix this issue. They kind of figured out what the problem with the issue was. And the issue they said was that players pulling out WoW Blast guns were being made to, like, act as if they were actually holding out guns. And it's like, no, it's when players commit die on themselves. When they do the backspace express in front of NPCs, the NPCs freak out because they're trained to freak out if they find a body. I've seen it happen in real time, where a player did a backspace right in front of me, and the NPCs are acting normally, then he backspaced, and they all freaked out because they're like, oh, someone just died in front of me. It's starting to sound a lot like only this one Jesus Tech bro, trust me. Like, does CIG talk like that? The community does. The community does all the time. But dynamic isn't going to solve all the problems. The only way that's going to solve the problems is the dirty, nasty, boring, long work of CIG going through the code, replacing old stuff, finding bugs, and it's going to take a slow, agonizing process to get everything to a state where people will be happy with the game. I've said this for years since the Jesus patch thing has come around, which is what's going to happen is you're just going to wake up one day and the game is going to be playable. There's not going to be some big update. There's not going to be some big change that'll go, oh yeah, it'll just one day you'll wake up and suddenly the game will be functioning in a way that you expected it to because CIG found the one bug that was bothering. The one thing that was causing desync or falling through planets or whatever, and they fixed it fine. And playable is subjective. It's individual. Everyone's Jesus patch is something different.
Launch sequence complete.
Like, we're just talking about Mini Space Patrol. If they had NPC medical missions in the game, that would be their Jesus patch. They had medical NPC missions in the game and exploration missions in the game, that would be their Jesus pack. They would be like, I'm done. I got what I wanted. When the crossbow comes out, Lurch will be a happy Lurch. CIG's multiplications that I'm too lazy to look up. When I say this thing is in, we're going to say significant update in development speed. Oh, insufficient fuel. Keep forgetting I need to go fuel up after this. Yeah. The fact that this patch is coming out in the way it is astounding to me. This patch has broken my brain in many ways in terms of how CIG typically does things. For years, my more cynical side has always been right when it comes to CIG's decisions. Like when they said, oh yeah, well, the Raylan is gonna come out this year. And I look up and I'm like, oh, it's in white box? Maybe it'll come out at the end of the year. Because CIG is always over-aggressive. And I'm like, all right, we'll just, it sounds like they could probably get it done by the end of the year, but not middle of the year. And then CIG's like, no, we're doing it by June. It's like, fuck, okay, CIG's gonna pump out stuff faster. Does it still gonna have issues? Obviously, but it always has issues.
Engines off.
I don't think CIG's ever done something like crafting this early in the year. Typically, CIG waits until the end of the year to do all of their big like event patches. How can I lurch? Is there a big live event going on? I think it's just, honestly, oh goddamn, 7-player meetup. Omega, honestly, it's just, I think CIG's finally found a rhythm. All of the teams have found a rhythm and have tools that mostly work. The big thing that I heard from CIG's developers, just from talking with them, was that the focus on 1.0 has changed the entire mentality of the studios. They're far more invested in, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. They know what they're going for, rather than just make this work. Because when you're just saying, oh, make this work, cool, I'm just gonna make this work. But now, if you're working in animation and you know, oh, this animation is going to this, which is connected to this, this, and this, I need to think about those other things that I've got to do in 4 months, 6 months, 2 years, whatever, like in the process of getting to that 1.0 status. So now I have a path to finish. They have a defined goal line, yeah. But then Jared says they can make changes anytime. Yes, which just pisses me off. It pisses me off to no end. I hate that term. And if I ever see Jared again in person, which I'm sure I will at some point, I will address that with him personally, just from a perspective of it doesn't come off as we are a better team for doing it. It comes off as we have no idea what we're doing. It comes across as, we have no plans, the plans will change, and when they do, we will make something else. When, honestly, at this point, it should just be, let's have an actual goal to hit, and then we'll continue to evolve beyond that, because we'll have a stable launching point to go off of. Which is weird, when they promised Squad 42 release before, they didn't have this rhythm. They didn't. When 2016? No, hell no, they didn't have this. My question is, what's after 1.0? Because how are they going to make money? What are they going to push? Selling new UECs so you can rent and decorate apartments with interior decorating? Were they interior decorating? Were they thinking? They're still going to sell ships, or they're going to sell them straight to Flyable. Cosmetics is always king, and I don't like the fact that CIG hasn't really thought about that. But also, yeah, it's going to be ships. And subscriptions, which will give you other things. Like, we already have subscriptions, which will probably transition to be more in-game subscription stuff. Am I the only one in wishing and feeling that Jared was a bit more formal and not so jokey with SELs? It's not the industry to not be to be serious. Like I said, game developers are very weird. I have never met a normal game developer, like a normal game developer in my life. You have to fundamentally believe in some crazy shit to be a game developer. And that goes for all of you in this chat right now who are part of game development, who are insane. Because as it's been described to me, game development is one of the few arts that actively fights against itself being created. You have to punch your clay to get it to stop moving. You have to tie down your paper in order to write. You have to lock your canvas to a boulder and to prevent it from trying to wiggle away from you. So you kind of have to be insane to attempt it. That's how I paint. No, the rest of us, if you're in this chat... Oh, hold on. Also, why does tongue-in-cheek of all things trigger in the auto mod? Because it says tongue. But yeah, but get back to the 1.0 discussion. Yeah, they're going to continue to develop the game. Star Citizen is not done at 1.0. They're going to add new locations. They'll add new factions. They'll add new ships, new skins, new features. Yeah, new content. Yep. One of the things, and I think there's a lot of folks who haven't done, who haven't been in an MMO before with Star Citizen, because like anyone who's done an MMO knows that an MMO at launch is very different from MMO year later. Citizen.
But you can never,
Never.
ever take away my space game.
Dirtisan just resubscribed for 5 months. More Lord of Law, more.
Oh yes, I will be doing more lore. That is the plan this week. I have failed. I have failed my test, and will diminish and go into the west. Because this week I took the audacity of relaxing on my week of vacation from school instead of doing stuff that I was going to do. Thank you, Sergeant Lobster.
Quantum travel complete.
One of my favorite quotes about, what's the point of being alive is still, I like pizza. I want to eat more of it. Also, the fucking bangers that Pedro and his team keep hitting with all of these new patches. Like, goddamn, Pedro. You really do not have to go this hard. Like, ever. And you do, every single time. That's why we love you. Goddamn, you are so good. I feel like just now the game is catching up with Pedro. I can't say I remember games as much as when the music goes so hard that you're listening to it without playing the game. That's happened to me in Skyrim a couple of times. It happens to me in Helldivers. It happened to me in WoW a few times as well. Oh God, Assassin's Creed 2, yeah. Battlefield does that to me all the time. Dun 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 dun. Goddamn. How quickly after CIG gets next one to the game do you think they'll start with the fourth system? Like the patch, that same patch, if not the patch afterwards. It really depends on how far along Sherman is. If Sherman is done, then yeah. I mean, so call me hopium, all right? Say I'm high on copium, but CIG seems to be hitting a very ambitious track that they've set forward for themselves at the beginning of February. So in the beginning of February, they basically said, we plan on having 4.7 is inventory and crafting. 4.8, which is in May, is going to be capital ship refuel, refit, and repair. And FPS scanning, finally. And then Siege of Orison is in 4.9, that's when they're going to get instancing. Yeah, also tactical strike groups before it. Yeah, if you get if you're getting the capital ship repair refuel that's 4 that's tactical strike groups. I think basic social tools is going to come in 4.9. We'll know more with the next progress tracker update, which won't happen until June. FPS scanning was mentioned in the progress tracker update for end of May, which is 4.8. And of course, them just updating a bunch of stuff about scanning in Star Citizen. What are tactical strike groups? They're a dungeon/raid. I think it's probably closer to a raid than a dungeon. But that's the one they showed off where you have to go to a station and then you have to like do a trench run into the station to destroy it. It's the thing they showed off at CitizenCon. It's like a big space battle where you have to deal with fight capital ships, and then you have to disable certain things with fighters, and then do a trench run to disable the shields or the weapons. And then you have to board the station and do turn off some other things, and then the Van Duel show up at the very end. I'm playing at 1440. I think I am. If there is a CitizenCon, I will. But I don't know if there is. That's the only thing right now that makes this a semblance of an MMO. That's the thing, is that typically, I've said this in the past, CIG has swagger. Not necessarily confidence, but swagger. And that swagger has bit them in the ass multiple times. When they start showing off swagger, and it's like, oh, that's hubris. You're flying too close to the sun there, Icarus. Prepare to get your ass slapped back to the dirt. But this is the first year that their bodies aren't writing checks that their egos aren't writing checks that their bodies can't cash, kind of thing. They are actually finally doing what they said they were doing in terms of their planning. and their planning is actually hitting. Am I going to SawCon? No. SquadCon? I don't think there's going to be a physical in-person CitizenCon this year because it's going to be the focus is going to be on Squadron. They still need to get the mechanics that were shown a decade ago in. Which mechanics? Knowledge. Or will there be Squadron and release at the end of it? CIG will make an announcement. I really fucking hope they make an announcement well before, like, we'll know by June when Squadron 42 is coming. Data running, science, farming, exploration, bounty hunting. They didn't show those off, but they did talk about them. But yes. I don't know if bounty hunting is going to be coming in this year. Maybe data running. They've been kind of playing and teasing with it. Exploration and farming is probably next year as well. Like everything you just listed is probably 2027. I like to insert drones as the equivalent or almost equivalent to scanning as necessary tech for implementation of profession loops. Well, yeah, drones are needed for base building too. So. That's 27. I don't think we're going to see base building this year. CIG hasn't really talked about it, but we will know more in June or July, because typically in June or July is when CIG starts to lay out their plans for the rest of the year. Now, they're not always accurate, but they at least will give us somewhat indication of what the direction they're going for. Not necessarily a promise, but like, hey, this is what we're working on. I mean, honestly, Sergeant Lobster, I feel like they should release a playable demo ahead of time. They should release it for free. Like, this is a lot of work, so I don't know if they'll be able to do it. But if I were them, I would release it for free. And when they make the announcement for the date. But if they're already planned on doing that, then I don't think it'll happen. But I do think that it should happen. Even after the game releases, they should release a playable demo for free. Because one of the biggest problems that CIG has is overcoming anxiety. Like, people are very concerned about the game because of its connection to Squadron or to Star Citizen. Its ambition seems pretty high, and people tend to be very skeptical of very ambitious games these days because, so many games just straight up fail because of the ambition. So having a portion, just a bite, for them to stick their teeth into and go, this is interesting, then they might pull the trigger. No, there isn't going to be a 5 after 4.9. It's going to go to 4.10, 4.12, 4.11, 4.12. We will not see a 5.0. We will see a 1.0 beta, or at best, or at worst, we'll see a 1.0 release. Next year, we should get to 420. We might be able to, yeah. Let's see. If they're doing the same thing as they're doing this year, which is a patch every 2 months, then we won't get to 420. We'll get to 415. No, wait. We might get to close to it. Because the end of this year, so it's 4.7 in March. May will be 4.8. July will be 4.9. September will be 4.10. November will be 4.11. We won't have a patch at the end of the year, thank God. And then February will be 412. March, that'll be April. Yeah, April will be, or will it be January? Yeah, it'll be January. January will be 412. March will be 413. May will be 414. Did I say that wrong? Yeah, I think I did it wrong. 8, May, July, 9, September 10, November 11, January 12, March 13, May 14, July 15, September 16, November 17. Yeah, it would be 2028 when we get 420. We might actually get to 420. Twitch Mobile sucks. It does suck. I've tried to use it multiple times. It doesn't work. No, we won't see a release 5.0. Oh, I mean, yeah, we'll see a release 5. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. But I don't think so. I think CIG will do a release 2.0 once they have all 100 systems. When is Castra? I think CIG will release Castra, the patch of, or the patch after they finish Nyx. And I think, honestly, they're probably finishing Nyx in July. I think we're going to get Nyx 1, Nyx 2, and Nyx 3 in July. I might be wrong on that one. It could be like a September one, but like it's within the next half the year. And I think because Chris basically said that they were going to release Castra once they have a chance, once they have Genesis in. I wouldn't be surprised if Castra is already done, in the sense of Sherman is close to being finished, or at least a release version could release. We might see a beta 1.0. Let me actually get together with the folks on Discord, and then we'll do a discussion on crafting and inventory. By finish, you mean all POIs or just landscape? Just landscape. Da, 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 da. All right. We're going to head into the actual captain's table. We're going to discuss crafting and inventory. It's at least done in a... they may have put it to the side so they could work on other things. The team that we're working on, Sherman, were probably the same teams that were working on the, like, Levski stations and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure that we'll see Nyx this year. Castra this year, simply because Chris will push it out. They won't have any POIs. It'll just be Sherman and the station above Sherman, but it'll be there. Because Chris wants to release it and be like, we released 2 systems in 1 year. Again. One which we piecemealed, another we completed entirely. Still need some point of interest, but put POIs, but it was a proof that we could produce a system with the new planets and the new tech right away. And then next year will be Terra at the end of the year. 2027? Yeah, they'll do Terra at the end of the year. We won't see a quick turnaround of Terra. Terra's going to take them some fucking time. was pre-Genesis and it already looked amazing. Yeah. All right, y'all. Moving to the captain's table. It's going to be Loken Plays and Radar Ranger. Okay, chat. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to be moving you over to the Captain's Table podcast YouTube for the live. That is where it'll be. So if you don't know where that is, you should go subscribe to the Captain's Table podcast on YouTube. And that's where the live version of the show always is, on YouTube. If you want to watch it after the fact, it's always there. It's unlisted, but it is listed under the live shows playlist. So we'll start here in a few seconds.